Okay. Just in case, because quite a lot of people not here, but I don't want you all to miss the content today. So, what are we going to go through today? Anyway, to start, because it's already coming to 9:30. Anyway, I got recording. I will later upload it to YouTube somehow or other. Right, no choice. That's the that's the part. So so let's go to Polite Mall first lah. Go to the LMS first. TP courses. Okay. So I recorded the screen. So let me put behind this one. Where is it? I cannot see all. Okay. So next thing is the today we're going to cover some of the thing. Oh yeah, we still need to print the thing first so that you can work on it. Okay. First of all, part one is today we're going to look at the assessment. There's an assessment here, which is the video pitching submission. Okay. When is the submission for this one? Let's go back to teaching plan. This is the teaching plan. I hate it when it's like that. Okay. Maximum size. Okay. Come on. I don't want. What is it? Gray one. Okay, never mind. More important thing is there is a project part 2. This is a submission date. I hope the mouse is captured. So it's on the 5th of February that week. 5th of February that week, week 17. We actually have project part 2 submission. That's 25%. Your class test already done. Class test, this one done already, so you can ignore this one because the practical test, the packet tracer that you submit. The packet tracer you submit, all I marked already. So that one is really done. The test is done. Okay. Also it is a project part 2. This one. Okay. And project part 1. Every week that you submit packet tracer, I mark already, so that one is done. Okay, so don't worry about that one really. That one is done. You have completed that one. So project part 2 is 25%. This is on YouTube video submission. Okay. We used to have a MCQ test, closed book MCQ test. So then nowadays we don't do that because of COVID at that point in time. So yeah, then we revert back to the old one. Okay, so what is it involved? Let's take a look. The assessment video submission. This look okay. Okay, so what does the video submission include? You're required to create a PowerPoint slide and then turn it into a YouTube video of about 10 minutes because I got a lot of students so it adds up one person 10 minutes 50 students, more than 50 students so will become 500 minutes 5 minutes if you think about it it's more than, it's coming to about 10 hours or so. Then I need to eat I don't know whatever end of the day. By the time I finish it's about 2 days of sitting there do nothing and watch YouTube video and do marketing. So you think 10 minutes is very short. It's very long for us on the marking side. Just doing this thing, it'll take 2 days to do nothing, just to do marking only. Okay, so I hope that you understand where we're coming from. Not that we want to have it so short. It's all individual, by the way, this is individual. Okay, so they're all together 4 parts over here. Part 1, describe the following protocol. Okay, before the term break, we actually went through all the various protocol. So you just need to go and do some research on the protocol itself. So there's a ZigBee, MQTT, NFC, and Bluetooth. Okay, so that's AMUX. So based on whatever diagram here. Second one is describe how the IoT protocols used in real life, right? All these 4 of them. Then analyze and attack from any of the above protocol that was discovered before and what can be prevented. So this was the portion that is mentioned here. Then so typically all this has been hacked before. You can just Google you can find the hacking. Actually, we have done one of the hacking MQTT. No security. When you have no security, very easy hack. No username, no password, no encryption. Right? You see it, right? So the same apply for the rest. You have no username, no password, whatever. Okay. So that was the 2.3. 2.4 A. You need to require the model attack either based on strike, threat, or attack tree. Later we'll go through one of them using strike. Okay. And then model a smart home to link to the attack model. Okay, so you look at the smart home. So later I will cover the architecture of a smart home, and then we'll run through that lab review. Okay. Because by running through the thing, going through review, then so it's easier for you to do this one, the part B portion. Each part, if you think about it, you are given about 2+ minutes to do it. Then you say so very short, 2+ minutes to talk. So you need to make it concise. Okay, end of the day, you just need to upload the YouTube link in the text file and submit. That's all. It's just a link only. Right. The end of the day you need to be workable. The link need to be able to view not private. Private only you yourself can watch. So it's just a link only. Provide the link. You don't need to be public also. There's a thing called unlink. There's a thing between private that you only can you yourself watch, public where everybody can watch, and just the in the middle one is just provide the URL link. That's for submission. Okay. So in actual fact, a lot of schools most people are using that one for all these kind of you will say shared link okay. So that's this part so that's this part of the video submission. Okay, that's part 1. So next, what else? Let's go through the material for this week. I'll do a quick coverage. This is week 8. Let me go to week 8. I need to cover week 8 and week 12 today. Earlier on, we covered the Wi-Fi thing. So, what are we covering? Wait, slow. Okay, so the part on the, so we covered the lower layer here. We're going to TCP IP portion. Okay, the pen. So for IoT layer, if you note towards the end, that's the lab. Later we'll go through this one, which is have to do 2.4b. That question. Right, that's why that's why we lump everything together so that we actually cover all the necessary stuff. Okay. So TCP IP, when you have an architecture like this, you actually typically for IoT communication, you have various portion, right? IP security is quite important because most of the IoT device, as we've covered earlier on, we have a device, which is a thing, and we have the internet. So it's Internet of Things, correct? Then we talk about security of Internet of Things. So the two main part is the thing part, which is all this T and this D are the thing, and then the gateway that connects you to the internet. Okay, those are your attack surfaces that will have IP vulnerabilities. End of the day. Okay. So what are the common IP vulnerability? Because you're Internet of Things, you're connected to the internet. That's why it's called. That's why Internet Protocol, internet, right? So then you have the following things subjected for attack: denial of service attack. Okay. DDoS, ICMP, address spoofing, man-in-the-middle, session hijacking. So some of these things we have done before. Some of these things we have done before. We have done in the MQTT one. In the MQTT lab, remember? We will do a revision of all those. By the way, when we are in this topic, we will do a revision of all the 4 different things. Your AAA, your password hacking, the MQTT, and then the firewall. Okay, that 4 lab we will run through again. Why? The reason is wait, I'm trying to dig out that thing. There's a capstone if you see here. Then anyway, so you need to go back and practice that one also. Those labs yourself. There is a, where is the thing? During Flex Week, right? During the Flex Week, there's a project part 1. So there's the one that capstone. You need to run. This is not half an hour not enough to run. It's a whole entire session, 3 hours for you to do that hands-on lab. So you're given a case, you need to do the lab, and then you need to submit that particular lab. That one is 25%. That lab, it covers the following thing. Right. 1, the AAA lab. Okay. All your ETC, group, ETC, what do you call it? And ETC, the other one is Shadow. What's the ETC group? What's the ETC group? You still remember not? What's ETC group? Triple A 啦嘛 revision I start doing revision already ETC group in your first lab ETC group is a security group. Okay. I'm going through now I'm going through some of it as we go along We still have a few more weeks to go before we reach to that particular point. Okay. It is not 100% closed book you need to access your computer whatever to do that thing, right? But then I don't think you got the time even you 3 hours to do it You try to refer. I don't think you got time to go and refer to the notes also. Okay. So what is shadow? What shadow file? What's the shadow file for? This is the password file. Okay. Then this one? What's this file? Don't remember. This one is the account file. Okay, very important. History is very important. It will come out again in the assessment. Please remember all these things. Okay. Then there's a lab on firewall. Okay, on a firewall lab. So how typically is the following protocol secure FTP, Telnet, and HTTP. Are they secure? So what is the secure version of them? What do you think? You done the earlier part, right? You don't remember. What's the secure version of them? What's the secure version of HTTP? HTTPS, yes. Very good. Okay. What's the secure version of Telnet? What's Telnet? Telnet allows you to give you a shell. You can log in username and password. It's a black color screen command prompt for you to connect to a remote machine. So what's the secure version for this? What do you all do every week for mobile XTerm? The mobile XTerm, what do we do? Let's go and take a look. Remember this? Yeah, so this is a secure version for Telnet. Then the secure version for FTP is SCP. Okay, it is on this sits over SSH. Okay, this is a secure version for FTP. Right. Next thing is So you can put firewall. What's the firewall? Uncomplicated firewall. I don't remember the name really, but then it's an uncomplicated firewall, uncomplicated firewall, UFW. Okay, end of the day for the configuration, right? What is the port for FTP? FTP is what? All this is under what? It's a what kind of protocol? It's over what? It sits over, okay, all these protocol runs on top of a TCP. Which is what I'm trying to tell you later. It is part of the notes. In actual fact, in week 2 already covered once. So FTP, TCP vulnerability nodes. Let's go further down. Right. See HTTP, email, so on and so forth. TCP. Right. So all the various ports in TCP has this vulnerability, some of the well-known ports. Okay. I'm trying to tie the lecture back into the thing itself. Okay, so FTP is port 21. Telnet is port 23. And HTTP is port 80. Okay, standard port. Okay, so we need to put the uncomplicated firewall and block all these ports. Okay, and at the same time, what do we need to do? Wait, how come delete the way? Delete, undo. Then what else we need to do? There's an SSH, right? Do we allow or not allow SSH? SSH is what port? Don't remember. SSH is port 22. Okay, SSH is port 22. You look very foreign to this. Where's the lab? Exactly which one? Wait. Quite early one. I remember it's quite early one, not so late one. This one. Right. See, Kingbot, the one on Kingbot, Kelvin, then you have all these, end of the day, right? Uncomplicated firewall. See the uncomplicated firewall, we run through this thing before, right? The VM. Okay. And we need to deny the HTTP, the telnet, the FTP, remember? Okay, you need to do the same thing, okay, and then you need to allow the SSH, and you need to, that's the end of the day what you get, right, because of this, and you need to limit the SSH itself. Okay, so that is the firewall lab that you need to do. Okay, so that's and then the AAA one is the AAA lab. That's a AAA lab. This is the AAA lab. Okay, so remember about the look at the /etc group, right? and then I create an account. Because if further down, you can see just now that one also create account, right? Then you have your etc password, right? The etc shadow. Okay, right. Okay, so all these are important. Then the part on the password cracking. Okay, password cracking. That. So you need to know how to use John. To give you a list of password. You need to crack the password. Okay, you need to know how to use John and crack a list of password. Okay, the step is similar to this, just that part you just need to put it inside the hash and run it. So we'll run through one more round on this thing. Let's say I give you a list of password. How do you copy into a text file, and then you run a John, and then you'll be able to crack all the passwords inside there. Can So that's that part. So the other part of the lab, you password hacking lab. Last but not least is MQTT lab. The one that we before the third break now. This one. Let's go take a look at the MQTT lab. Right. So you have various VM. You have a publisher, subscriber, broker. Remember? Then you connect the configure all the machines, the mosquito, all the machines up, right? Then you do a subscription. You subscribe to the broker. Your broker must be working first. Then you subscribe to the broker. Then you do a publish. Okay. And then you use a Kali and you start doing this packet forwarding, and you can download and take a look at the packet that information that is sent over there, and look at the information, and then you send a message again, and you capture the traffic. You use the Wireshark to see the information. Okay, those are the important lab. Those are the most important lab that is needed for you to do your capstone, which is during the FACFIC that assessment. Can? I know after holiday you all forget everything already. Everything give back already. Okay, so that's before for just to have all the bring back all the necessary stuff. Okay, on the thing itself. Yeah, we will run through this thing one more round at least very quickly we'll run through very quickly. Okay, especially the password one so because the password one will give you the file, and then so that you at least know what's going on. So do I have it in all video form? Let me check. First of all, MQTT definitely yes. Right. Let's take a look. Is the AAA one there? AAA is there. right? The hardening one is there. Not this one. There's another one that is the hardening one. Oh, don't have the hardening one. Okay. Is this the hardening one? Wait, let me check. Yeah, this is the hardening one. Yeah, okay. So that's why this one is listed there also. Good. So the only one that is do I have the password one? Yeah, password one was there. Correct. I make sure that I have all the YouTube video for all of them inside there. Right? Worst come to worst, at least you can go on to the YouTube for revision, right? Right now. Need to tell you ahead of time so that at least, because in case some of you cannot come for class like today, half of the class only. That's how. Right now. So at least it is in YouTube right? So that at least you can do all the necessary revision and it is. And because I need to make sure that definitely is inside there. Right? I cannot just leave it as it is. Okay, good. So we can come back to here so that all the necessary thing is access is actually covered. So good. No I kiasu I double check because sometimes I may, because of overwhelming of too many things I may miss out so I just double check that everything is provided, okay, not just during the lesson done. There's also a video so that you can do the necessary home revision, and then when possible, the only one that is not that detailed in terms of that is the password hacking one, because if it's given as a file format, it's rather than you do that one and then get to that point. So I'll run through you that one next week so that at least that one is very, very clear. So when you come to that assessment itself, you know what to do. There's no ambiguity in terms of that part. It is almost, I would say it is almost the same as the lab whatever we have go through almost just that there are some differences okay. It's just to test your knowledge figure out whether you really know or don't know how to do or not. Okay, can so at least it force you to do the lab at least once end of the day. Okay, so next one denial of service attack. Okay, denial of service attack end of the day is just now we went through this one because we only went through here, right? So some of the common IP so we have OSI 7 layers your TCP, your application, your app. The communication is under here so you have a TCP and then your IP So we are covering this one now, IP. Okay, so IP layer, they're subjected for malicious attack so they may use all kinds of malicious packet to forward to the client. Basically change the format of the file format. The most common one of this one happen especially because there is a Instagram on that. If you visit the Instagram webpage, right, the packet is so big that it will crash the iPhone. Okay, iPhone get crashed if you even the latest iPhone you get because iPhone only have 6 gig of RAM. So because they send a very huge malicious formatted packet, it goes beyond 6 GB, the whole entire phone will hang. The Instagram. Okay, Android phone, typically most of the modern Android phone is more than 6 GB of RAM. And then the way of how Android code, it will not crash, but it will just hang there. You have to close the whole entire Instagram program. Okay, so that's a malicious formatted packet example. Okay. Next is the overwhelming of traffic in IoT. Because phone is an IoT device also, a mobile phone is an IoT device connected to internet, right? Tablet and all these things. Okay, next one is the traffic. So the jam, send a lot of information and jam. Remember the botnet one? Yeah, this is something like a botnet, right? So a lot of things. If you connect to the internet, you downloaded some unwanted program, they will just, this is the hacker the hacker sent through the CNC command and control all these devices, and then end of the day attack a victim infrastructure. Okay, attack a victim infrastructure. Okay, so then end of the day that is a denial of service attack This is even more this is called distributed denial of service attack, which they take over many devices and then attack at the same time. Okay, so a lot of traffic is go to that thing. So one of the you can do amplification one of the way to do that is to make use DDoS, right? One of the way to do that is to create a big ICMP packet. It's an IP packet but then because IP maximum size, normally we use this to do ICMP. Sometimes we use this to do load test, see how far machine can handle. So there's a load test machine. But then if you try to jam it with a lot of load test machine, at the end of the day, you kill that machine. One load test machine, fine, but you have 2 load test machine, game over, right? If you think about it, right? Let's say the machine can handle 1 load test machine. Basically, you because the packet size itself, at IP layer, you have an IP header. This is the header. This is how it look like. Okay, this size, it's just like a truck just like a truck. Let's say you have a truck, a lorry that carry a lot of things inside there, right? This maximum size is 65535. Okay, and then you have a warehouse. So the first lorry you jam with a lot of things. The warehouse, okay, 1 lorry can take it. Okay, but then you have a lot of lorry, then it becomes traffic jam. That's the road cannot handle. So this is exactly what happened. Like this morning, the road normally if you have a few vehicle, fine. But then if the inter-arrival, the traffic, the packet come in so fast, the whole road jam, everybody late, they all didn't even come. Okay, so that is the main condition. That is the what DDoS is about. Denial of service. Can? Okay, what I'm saying, right? Traffic jam Traffic jam means you cannot get to that place that in time or at all, right? Correct or not? Can? That's denial of service. And ICMP can be used for other purposes. Okay, can be used for other purposes like reconnaissance and scanning. That's my pen. Wait, I find my pen. Okay, can be used for reconnaissance and attack scanning. So how they do it, they send a packet to a device and hope and get a response. Okay, the simplest way is if you send to a Windows machine, you get 4 response. Okay, I think do I have a Windows machine? I don't want to start the VM, take a long time. So anyway, most of the time, so you if it's a typical machine, it will get back this byte, 32 bytes. I think Google.com, right? So this is a typical Windows machine. Will do that. The ping. Okay, they return a size of 32. If it's a Cisco machine, router 5 packet come in. Ping 5 successful, so 5. Okay. If it's a Linux machine, a Unix machine, it will continue to run continuously. So and then the size of this will be different. Okay, so that's how people figure out what kind of operating system is on it. Okay. In actual fact, we did run some of the scanning tool inside. So if you go back and take a look at the what I call it, the firewall one, the Ubuntu hardening one, 1.2.3.3 one, that particular lab, you will see that we'll do a fping to scan for reconnaissance to find out what IP, what machines is available. So that is what this thing is talking about. Okay, so scanning for attack. Okay, next one is address spoofing. You want to fake someone address. Okay, you want to fake, do some faking of address and MAC address spoofing. So you want to do some faking. So they fake some, tell the switch, I'm AABBCC, AABBCC, right? Instead of the exact machine. So this is the victim. This is the attacker. So you fake the thing, right? Attacker finding the spoof the MAC address of the server. Okay. And then after that, he update the MAC address accordingly and all day. So that's to fake the physical address. So after that, what happened? After that, all the information will, instead of going to the server, it will go to the hacker itself. So you can collect all the information. This is one way of doing it. To look at all the user, if someone sent so you have a fake web page that says, key in your username and password. So someone who doesn't know, just key in the username and password, and then that's where the extraction of username and password happens. Okay, for the hacker lah. Because if it's the real thing, then fine. But if it's a hacker, then it's not good already. The hacker will steal this information and then use your information to log into the correct machine and steal other information from there. Okay. Next, okay, so we went through just now we went through the TCP portion, the front part, the vulnerability. Okay, that not just the normal vulnerability for TCP, there are also other kind of form of attack known as a SYN flood attack. So if this is like denial of services, this is a TCP level kind of denial of service. They send a lot of flood packet to the web server in such a way that the web server cannot handle anymore, and then you bring down the web server. It's not just the web, anything that touches TCP will be subjected to this kind of attack. Anything that is TCP will subjected to this attack. Web is just one of it. Web is HTTP. The other rest is Telnet, SSH, so on and so forth, are all subjected to this attack. Okay. Next thing is UDP. UDP is the same layer as TCP, right? typically most of the UTP is not encrypted by any encryption, so it's even easier to hack, right? Because TCP typically nowadays, when you have SSH or whatever, you actually have some form of encryption. UTP is most of the time no encryption. Okay, so yeah. So how do we solve the problem of having that? We need to look holistically lah. A lot of time we will have to make sure that everything must be secured physically, have prevent from damages and tampering. Okay, the firmware interface must not be vulnerable, the physical one. Okay, we can create a threat model for whatever it is. Okay, the communication need to be secure, which means that you need to have encryption. Say it's easy than done. Okay, you need to have encryption, you need to have authentication end of the day. Okay, and then device who join the system must have a robust system at the end of the day. The thing cannot be easily jammed. Okay, and then of course you must have encryption. The other thing is, remember the Purdue model, this is the Purdue model, right? So you need to have some form of firewall for zoning end of the day. Okay. Okay, now we take a short break. I need to do a printing out for the lab sheet, and then we'll go through the lab sheet, the 2.4 P1. We take a short break for 15 minutes or so. Okay. So the IoT threat modeling at our communication layer. So this is the topology. This is the thing that I just given to you lah. Okay, so you have a house, you have a smart home. Why? Let's go back to take a look at the your part D. Go to content. All right, smart home. The heck is that thing? Assessment, video pitching. All right, if you take a look closely, all right, towards the end, the last part is talking about what? Smart home, right? Model a smart home, right? So then there's one smart home lah, right? I show you a home, right? So this is a smart home. Okay, so it has various what do you call it? The devices at home. They have a tablet, and so on and so forth. Smartphone, TV. Okay, all these are devices, right? Then you have sensors. This is temperature sensor. They have another temperature sensor here. They have a smoke sensor, smoke detector. They have a water meter sensors. All these are sensors. Then they have actuator, aircon, hot heating unit, cooling unit, alarm, fan, window open and close. It's also an actuator, right? Just using motor to control right? Then you have smart door open and close. You have a garage door to open and close. So all these are all these are actuators. Okay, sensor is, if you put it bluntly, is input, accepting the information, just like your eyes, your nose, and your ears, accepting information. Your actuator is your output. For example, your hand gesture, your leg gesture, or whatever. Okay, facial gesture, or whatever. End of the day. So so you have an input and output. End of the day. Okay, this is typically connected in that way. Okay, so there are three or four part of it. They also have do a diagram, create assets. Okay, and then look at the thing. A lot of time, why, if you look closely on security, the very important thing is, if you don't know what you have, you cannot do any protection. first of all, you need to know what you have. That's why you need to get an inventory. And the even more important thing, you need to have a live update of the inventory. Typically, what people actually have is a non-live one. Basically, it's an Excel spreadsheet, right? Which is not good enough because a lot of time things change. The first person will key in that thing, yeah, I look like that. That thing change, then how? Is it updated or not? Right? A lot of time, the issue with cybersecurity is thing has changed, move on, but the data has not been updated accordingly. That is the gap that a lot of the time if you start. That's what people pay, a lot of people do, the gap, because it's just a health, right? Every morning I measure my blood sugar, I figure out how much, what is my health status is. Every day you can measure your blood pressure or whatever, right? Every year do a health check. Because end of the day, it is important to know the status. What is the status at that point in time? There are certain things that has been around for, if you use a status that is very, very old, it's no longer valid because it's just a static piece of information, right? Right, you have? Okay. So that's one of the issues that most of the time, what is missing? So, but then if you do, it's better you don't do, right? So the very first time is, okay, so choose a protocol for sensor network. So they have a Wi-Fi there, they have a wired there. Then the other one is likelihood is ZigBee. You can see this answer. It's not my answer. You can see ZigBee or Z-Wave. Home network a lot of time is ZigBee and Z-Wave. Okay. But not very common. In US it's very common, but in Singapore, still not very common. There's a clock. This clock. This is using ZigBee. Okay. Technology, the clock. The synchronization of the clock. Okay. This by engine school, by the way. So inside there have ZigBee inside that. Right. The biggest problem is there's too many technology out there, but then there's no standard way of doing it. Okay. Because the point is IoT will start flourishing as whatever appliances need to plug in a wireless transceiver to it now. The transceiver itself, the price has come down for the past 5 years or so only. So it started to get the thing more and more as time goes by. Okay. So the Smart 2 is, would it allow any actuator that outrange to communicate with you? Yes. If there's a possible to have mesh, it's possible to have that. The more important thing is here. Complete a floor plan of the design. Right? If you look at it, there's a floor plan of the whole places which is at the bottom. Let's take a look at the floor plan. So this is a floor plan for the ground floor, right? You want to have a asset. You want to know where the thing is end of the day. Why do we want to know where the thing is? You want to make a guess why we want to know where the thing is? This is simple. This is for a house. Okay. Even for a house, there's a lot of equipment inside there already. So if you get hacked somehow or other, and you have a cybersecurity system that can tell you, okay, you get hacked, this is the IP address. You want it the best but this system is very expensive but then people are building it right. Not sure how many people are building this thing but then we are building this system. So you want to know exactly where the equipment is. Why? You can plug it out. Just like quarantine right? If you have some things let's say you know inside a school or whatever, a big crowd of people, one of the person is sick, you want to pick that person out and then quarantine the person because you don't want it to spread further than whatever it is, right? So you want to know exactly where things is. All these are not human being or things, one. So they're even more relevant, right? You want to, if one of them get hacked, you want to take it out of the network itself, plug it out. Okay, so you want to know the exact location of it. It's also good lah, because at the end of the day, you know what you have what. Because from the financial perspective, you want to know what asset you have. Okay, I'm not talking about home lah, but especially for company, they only the biggest problem that most company have is they don't know where the thing is. Just you think about for yourself lah. Sometimes do you remember all your thing where your thing is placed? Then you spend time to go, you waste time do nothing but just to search for that stupid thing. Half an hour, 1 hour, wow, just look for that stupid thing. Okay, I know in engineering because I'm engineering trainer. There's a thing called are y'all taught about this thing? There's a thing called 5S. All the thing is at the correct place, neatly placed. Okay, 5S or 6S, now 6S. Safety. Okay, workplace organization. Sort, set in order, shine, standard, and sustain. The whole point of doing these things, end of the day, when you want to find a thing, you know where the thing, what the hell the thing is. Okay? Important, because you don't want to waste time, go and just look for that stupid thing, end of the day. Okay? So there's for safety lah, end of the day is important for safety purposes lah. Okay? Let's just on the thing. Okay? That's my PDF. Oh, here. Okay. So the next thing is, beside knowing the location of where the thing is, you want to have the data flow. If you look at closely, here we'll put in the data flow. If it's a sensor, it is an input. Okay, you want to put in all the data flow inside there. What is going in, what is going out, what kind of traffic. This is not a detailed one, but in actual fact, the better one is if you can even tell the VLAN and whatever data flow in and data flowing out of the devices. Okay? And then all these are the diagram. And after that, you want to write down what protocol it is running on. Okay? Because you want to know the inventory list, end of the day, you want to know exactly what is involved. Okay, so that is one of the, where is it? This device level, sorry. Move on to the, where's the notes? Where's the part? Okay, here. So that's all the connection. Not necessary for all the flow, but then the most important one. So the question here is, do you allow, what would allow any sensor outrange connect? Does it be what other protocols? They can be Wi-Fi, okay, can be 4G or Bluetooth. Smartphone and tablet can be Bluetooth, and the thing can be have 4G lah. Okay, which of the device home automation connect to IoT gateway? Okay, almost all the devices are connected to a gateway lah. Okay, some connection are single directional. Basically, the sensor sends data to the gateway. Actuator get information from the gateway. Okay, then the rest is bidirectional. Okay. Next, you want to create a list of network and communication protocol. What device use what protocol, communicate with what? Okay, so this is the communication portion. Because a lot of time, if you don't have this information, very hard for you to track. Very difficult to track. End of the day. Okay, so what device using what protocol and that thing. So you actually, a lot of time you have a map lah. Then after that, you look at the potential threat end of the day, right? So you use this spoofing, tampering, reputational, denial service, and escalation. You want to take a photo of this part or not? Especially this part. You know why? Why I asked you to take a photo of this one? Why? Correct, assessment. Okay? So your especially for the home attack model for 4B 2.4B right? So you don't need to cover everything because remember you only have 10 minutes in totality. 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 already cover, let's say about 6 minutes or so. Then what you left is another 3 plus 4 minutes only to cover this thing. So the key portion, if you go back and take a look at the marking scheme and the rubric, right? We are talking about, are you able to cover as comprehensive as possible? As comprehensive as possible means that at least do you cover sensor and actuator network? Because you have an input, you have an output, right? Which is inside the picture, right? The map itself, your input, your output. So at least you, like, and then where do they go to? Do they go to the IoT gateway or not? So at least do cover what all these two items inside in terms of spoofing, tampering, and all the various things for the video itself, the YouTube video itself. Because you cannot cover everything. Right? If you try to cover everything, I don't think your 3 minutes or so is sufficient. Okay? Can you get it or not? Okay. You don't have the necessary time to cover everything. So explicitly, I just tell you, you pay at least cover sensor actuator network and IoT gateway. Okay. So for spoofing, okay, can any attacker pretend to be someone he's not? Attacker attack because there's a attack a model Can attacker pretend to be someone that is or he falsify the data? Okay, if it's for sensor actuator network, so it can be a man in the middle attack. Okay, remember your MQTT, right? And implement some of the weaknesses in ZigBee or whatever network that you have. IoT gateway, if it's the weak password for the gateway, then you may be able to log in and then the access to the log and the local store sensor data. So that's pretend to be someone and fortify the data. Okay, next one, tampering. Can an attacker successfully inject and fortify data into the thing? Fake device can join network and fake the data. Okay, lack of message or payload authentication enable false data to be sent onto the network itself. So there's a sensor actuator network. For IoT gateway, wireless protocol security can be hacked. Force user join the network and inject false data. Okay, can so this is the tampering portion. I'll take a picture of this one already. Can this is tampering. Next, reputational. Can a user pretend that a transaction did not happen? Okay, let me put it down for the never mind, one by the time. Okay, so for sensor actuator network, timestamp with damages credibility of logging. So you have a sensor network, right? If there is they tamper with the timestamp, okay, or the logging data. So that's if it's a sensor and the actuator network. They're going to change all these things and say, hey, I never do this. At this time, at this place, I never do this. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about evidence. Right? IoT gateway, damage or destruction of any logs on the gateway itself. Okay, so therefore, that's the IoT gateway portion for the reputational portion. Next, so that's the reputational. Can someone pretend that they did not do this thing, that transaction or not? Denial of services, can device be shut down or made unavailable? Okay, so for sensor network, they can have a bad device, a root device, broadcast on network and keep the thing depleting the power until there's no power, they cannot run the end device. Wi-Fi jamming, wireless jamming, replay attack, basically reset the message until the thing doesn't have power anymore. Okay, so there's a denial service for the sensor actuator network. How about the IoT gateway? They can send in a ICP DOS ping from outside the IP network and use any UDP vulnerable services for the IoT gateway. Okay, this one, taken photo. Last but not least, privilege of escalation of privilege. Can a user get access to resources that is meant for the administrator only? Supposed to be administrator, but your end user, they log in and then they manage to go in. So if they manage to intercept a weak credential and figure out a way to go in. Okay, so that's a sensor actuator network. IoT gateway is basically weak and default password. The most important, a lot of time is a default password thing lah. A lot of administrators use default password which you should not do. Okay, follow this one. You should not, if your vendor want to have default password, insist that your vendor do not use default password. Then it's useless. If your other account, if the administrator is a default password, right? So you need to have a database that keeps all the password at a certain location. End of the day. Okay. People are too lazy to do that. End of the day. That's the problem. Okay, so that's the part. So at least I cover the what you call it? The portion. I'm still doing recording. Good. I need to do some marking attendance. Someone came in, right? Who is here? Where are you? Yes, where are you? What number? Can see or not? You see so far away, I already 150% already. Yeah, open house is it? Okay, never mind. Then okay. Okay, the attendance okay. I never mark you absent. Okay, next we come back to the other part of the lecture. So good, I cover most of the thing already. I'll just cover what is missing is wrong column. Anyway, this this week lecture 12. Okay. So the next part is today we're going to cover yeah, this one. Okay. IoT application. So IoT application in terms of this is this week one. So typically you have various application protocol, right? So typically the issue is so a lot of application is it has a very bad username and password. Can find username and password easily weak password or even default password. Just now I mentioned again, right? Default password. Okay, and then and then there will account lockout and don't have multi-factor authentication end of the day. Okay, so some of the application, the weaknesses in application is a firmware replacement. Okay, to change the operating system inside there. Cloning, they use a similar device and plug it in. Denial of service attack, right? Man in the middle get most of the problem the MQTT the one that actually at the application level, right? Eavesdrop attack, SQL injection, and routing attack. Let's look at individual So mobile application, insecure communication, right? The communication protocol may not be good enough. The data storage, okay, have access. Now it's slightly better but then it's like a knife I cut. Yeah, it's a both side issues On one hand, for forensic, you want to know if it's a terrorist trying to use this Not sure whether you've seen this before or not. FBI versus iPhone case. Okay, there was a dispute. Okay, so Apple object and challenge the issue by the court okay, US court, because there was a phone. This phone was by the FBI. FBI actually, this phone is used by a criminal, so they try to crack it at that point in time. So there is because it's encrypted, so it's not so easy to decrypt the especially iPhone. iPhone is very difficult to decrypt because every file is encrypted. Every file is encrypted. Android is not every file. Android is only one password, the whole entire file system. So you decrypt already, right? You can see the whole thing if you manage to decrypt. Apple, you decrypt already, it's only decrypt the overall. Every file is encrypted with a different key. So it is a nightmare to decrypt that one, right? Because of the terrorist attack. So eventually they managed to because of the crypto war and then Snowden but then in order to exist FBI end of the day. So it's a double-edged sword. So for any kind of encryption, the person who design encryption, y'all don't design encryption, we always need to find a way that because on the legal side, they need to have a way only if that one is a court order, because it's a government already, that's a court order already. That because end of the day, whenever when technology things is designed by right, they need to design in such a way, end of the day, it needs to help the normal people. It cannot use it to not help the normal people, right? End of the day. So of course there are other way lah, right? To force the criminal to open out the the what what you call that because in US they cannot force the user to actually unlock it. In Singapore, that will become a penal code, and then straight away tell the fellow you if you don't open it out straight away we'll jail you and then jail you indefinitely. Cannot be a death sentence, but then you jail you indefinitely because you're not willing to cooperate, right? So that's the part. Okay? Compelled to write a new software. On one hand, you want to have privacy. There is a privacy law. On one hand, you want to protect the privacy of people so that it's not easily hacked. On the other side, on the forensic side, when the police come in already, you need to open the door for the police because at the end of the day, or else the criminal cannot, you cannot keep up with justice. Okay, so it's not so security is not so easy. Is because of that. Okay, security is because of that. So that's the part on the this part of the the storage part. Okay, next thing is authentication. The session must have ensure there is a proper encryption, there's a proper authentication username, password, improper platform usage, okay, and then insufficient crypto. I mean, it cannot be over it cannot be under also What you're talking about, all this is under, not enough. So application have all this issue. Okay, cloud-based injection, okay, web injection, end of the day, XML entity subject for denial services. This is SQL injection. So username and password. The password column is put 1 equals to 1. This will becomes a logic true. And if you use SQL and then the logic true went through already, true already, right? So you don't even need to bother about the password part. You understand what I mean? The whole point is it is a software. They look at the logic. If the programming logic, end of the day, they see a logic true and they log in. Because it's an SQL logic. Then SQL return a logic true, go in already. Okay, so that is the weaknesses for web application. So in order to fight this, right, the people nowadays don't use the SQL logic for validation of login username and password. Even though at the back end it can be an SQL server, can be a database, right? So the way to do it is not to use the SQL logic. The way to do it is to use what we call object-oriented way of doing the logic itself. Okay, with object-oriented way, they go through another level, one more layer to do a data validation first. We don't look at true or false, we look at data validation. Because you look at data validation, you do what we call in programming get and set. By doing that, right, because you do a data validation, it is a bit slower, but end of the day, you avoid this kind of logic problem called SQL injection. Because it's separate of the data and you do one round of logic validation. You don't look at true or false. You look at the actual data itself. True or false, you throw away, throw it out and say, no, we don't accept that. It needs to be a final truth at the back end, and then after that, you open the gantry to open. So the logic chain is the software need to come from the back end to give you a truth and not from the front end to give you a truth. The picture. So this is the browser. let's say a browser lah, web lah. Then this is the web server. This is the front end front. This is the back end. The logic of truth doesn't happen here. If there is a true, you don't go, the authentication don't let it go through. The true must come from here and not from here. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you out of this actual injection thing. Of course, there's other things like XML an external entity, okay, that may disclose some of the file and file share, port scanning, and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so there's XML. Sensitive data exposure, APIs. This is less and less. This is more and more lah. More and more are this. This has been replaced with this. Okay, and then a lot of this thing is JSON JSON and RESTful. REST. The technology behind the scene Why people are not using this because this is too complicated. So most programmers don't like to program this. Most programmers do program APIs. Okay, because it's easier. Okay. And then the API, if it's not done properly, then you have a problem lah. And that's why nowadays, there's a thing called web application firewall, web-based firewall. Okay, out there to prevent sensitive data exposure. Okay, so there's another firewall. The firewall is not your traditional firewall, not the one that you're using. The one you're using, you go to port or whatever. The other one I'm talking about goes into the programming itself to prevent API leakage and all that, to prevent all this kind of thing. Application level 1. Okay, so they're all level 7. They're all at that level. Then broken access control. Okay, the control configuration is not done properly and the authentication is not done properly and all of it. Okay, if there's no session management or whatever and all of it. What is session management? Session management is when you go from one web page to another web page, right? Before you go to the next web page, they will check, did you log in from the original first page or not? Okay, if you did not come from the original first page, you throw the person out of the system because it's not a valid person. How can you come in suddenly from in the center, right? That's what people do lah. Come in from the center and then try to steal information from there, because that is another way to bypass username and password already, right? So if the program the web page need to program in such a way that if it's coming off the center, it's throw it back to the first page and ask him to log in first. That's known as session management. Okay. So then next thing is device management and data application. IoT device can be stored at the edge, okay, of the network edge or central. Okay, some of these don't worry about this mist and fog layer all these are just quoting. Other places can be done in the cloud itself. Okay, so it can be at the edge, central. The central nowadays is a lot of time is in the cloud okay. In terms of that, the edge a lot of time is your IoT gateway. Okay, the IoT gateway. Okay. So these are some of the common web security application. Security vulnerability, weak password, brute force, two-factor authentication. Okay, this is the way to help and then do encryption, and then test for all the vulnerability, set password to expire, change default username and password. Okay, so password, what password is one of the biggest problem because should be easy to remember but difficult to crack. Okay, cannot be too short lah. You all went through the password. That's why there's a password hacking net, right? Even with the hash, it's possible to reverse. So if it's too simple a password, it can be easily hacked. End of the day. Okay. Front end, just like I mentioned about one of them is cross-site scripting. Okay. A lot of time is JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the not so good programming language. Because JavaScript has weaknesses. That's the weaknesses. What's the thing called? ASOP. Is it called ASOP? ASOP. No, not this. This is the one. This is a famous case. 22 CPU architecture. So JavaScript can exploit and bypass 25 CPU, 25 different type of CPU architecture end of the day. Okay, this 2017. So people can make use of the web page and then bypass the security and get into the system. So this is all the different kind of CPU involved. Okay, so this is the one that people are talking about why JavaScript is not safe. Okay, precisely because of that. Okay, ASLR is, what is it for? This thing is basically a memory protection mechanism. Let's make it bigger. This is where the explanation is. It's a memory protection mechanism which randomizes the location where program run in a device memory. This in turn makes it difficult for attacker to execute bad password at a specific spot in memory when exploiting a buffer overflow and similar bugs. Okay. So it randomizes where the thing is. If you have a buffer overflow there, it will not overwrite, especially it will not overwrite. The key part of this thing is not to overwrite into the operating system. Okay, you will not buffer overflow into the operating system. So as an application, you don't know where your memory sitting is. That is on purpose. So that you don't know whether that's a good program or bad program. Alright. If it's a bad program, it will try to find the operating system and then crash it, and then become denial services immediately already. Okay, so that's what this ASLR is. But then the programming language JavaScript can bypass that. Okay, so it's a cheap flaw that notify hacking for millions of devices regarding their operating system or application running on top of it. Worse, the flaw cannot be fixed by hardware because it is a hardware issue. Unless the whole world change all the processor, which is impossible. 22 kind of processor. So how is it possible, right? So there's the you see Intel, AMD, ARM, and whatever, so on and so forth. So that's the issue side. Okay. Okay, next. Next is SQL injection. I just mentioned the database, you inject 1 equal to 1. That's the way the thing is. Okay. Next, broker authentication. The threat actor can hijack a session, assume the identity of a session token was left unexpired. So have a session, then this one never do session management, and then it come in from the center. right? So the website, go into the website, okay? They run a script. They can see the script and then they steal the information and you can run the script injection and everything. So threat modeling again, application level, right? You want to decompose the application, look at the application, how it can figure out how it works, identify the threat things using such as Strike or whatever. Strike is a very good thing to use it. Industry-wide, most people are using this one because Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft is the first one to do this. And recommend some of the mitigation, right? And we do it with some countermeasure. So we just went through some of the countermeasure. So HTTP is one of the protocol, right? Application. So what you do need, I just repeat myself. So HTTP, what's the best way to have HTTP? You turn it into HTTP, you turn it into, you don't use HTTP lah, you use HTTPS. Okay, so HTTPS I mentioned sorry Okay, so there are some other messaging protocols such as MQTT, right? The thing that we went through, subject for hacking also. Okay, COAC is MQTT is not a standard it's an Oasis standard it's not an international standard. COAC is a IETF standard. It's also a Singapore standard Of course, Singapore standards can support MQTT PASAP because most of the government agency is running MQTT. That's why we teach you MQTT also. By the way, Cisco also use MQTT. And that's why everybody using this thing The beauty about MQTT end of the day is because it's possible to do access control list at the central place at the broker. It is possible to do ACL at the broker. The thing is Cisco nodes don't have but the where's my that thing Where's the thing that I sent to my student? Just give me a minute. Let me pull out that one. I'll show you. This is the one. No. No. I thought you okay. Where's that link? This one. Found the link. So it's possible to do the ACL access control Okay. So you can do access control and see which topic is allowed by whoever is using it. Okay, so overall security-wise, MQTT is better. And you know who is the subscriber, who is the publisher. So that's a lot more important. That's one of the so end of the day the overall people can do control because you can see, right? You can deny access to every topic right? Default or then you can right? So you can say who can use what. Okay, so that's a security portion right? ACL. Okay. The rest like HTTP, you cannot do this. How are you gonna do this? Right, you cannot do this one, right? So that is the strength and then at least you know where the traffic is and go to a central place, you can handle them. Okay, so okay. So you can say yeah, no, username setting result. Right. If it's a blank, no send username password deny. Right, configured username send. Right, if it's general setting, then cannot deny. So there are a lot more configuration than just pure username and password from that perspective. Okay, in terms of the control. Okay, and then there's a thing called Mosquito Control Tool, CTL, that allows you to do more configuration, which is this. Okay, now you can set roles. You can have security group, you can have roles. Okay, I can think my full-time student final year project. That's why I just show you the link. That link is ask the full-time student to come out, change the whole entire notes, and include this whole entire thing. That's their final year project. So that next run of this subject will have all these things up. That's my plan. Because IoT security, right? I don't have time to do everything. So, yeah. Then you have XMPP. XMPP is another protocol used for instant messaging one, right? People may be using this, but not a lot of people using it. Most people are using MQTT. Okay. So some of the characteristics of this IoT protocol is power consumption, speed, latency, and security. So MQTT was designed by IBM. Okay. This is how it looks like. So publisher send the information, the temperature over and message to over. So this one we went through also in the lab itself. I go ahead of time for doing the lab so that at least we repeat a few times before you actually do the part. This is how the correct is. It is a constrained device. It's by IETF. This is by IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. Okay. So they can communicate for lightweight device and then end of the day connect to the browser through HTTP. Okay. Make use of JSON. Okay. The good thing is it's very low powered. The bad thing it is not. Then you use a controller to control them. So you have used. This is how the thing is being designed. Okay. Which means that this thing you need to program your IoT gateway to support this. Okay. So your home network, right? If you are having if you think about it, right, MQTT is good for what? Sensor network. Okay, MQTT is very good for sensor. So it's just collecting data, right? And then it's central place, whatever message they going to do. On the other side, feedback MQTT also can use for actuator, but you're doing a broadcast, which means that you're controlling everything on receive it is going to be a broadcast to all the devices you're going to have. So on that end, it is not very good for if you want to do a thing called a unicast, a unique command for each and every device. Okay, Correct is on the other flip end is very good for unicast control for constrained devices protocol. Okay, yet to come but then people are still building on this. Okay, so that's for control. So one is an input. MQTT is good for doing input. Correct is better for output because you want to have unique control for each and every one of them. That's why you have a controller. Okay. Then there are some other protocol not that important. Last but not least, universal plug and play. Has a lot of majority flaw on universal plug and play for a long time, but then Most people don't use that nowadays. Okay, and that's it for today's lecture portion. Don't worry, I got recording.